So when I search Efuel, the first article I get is from June 23rd, 2020, and it says E-fuels won't save the internal combustion engine. Well, we're not going to look at that because that's just grim. Porsche thinks its synthetic gasoline, which it calls E-fuel, could be as clean as an electric vehicle. I'm a boomer at the age of 23, and EVs are just not my thing. Hey guys, Tom here. I don't know what that face was. Welcome back to another vlog on the Racing Joker channel. I'm somehow managing to find things to do vlogs about. So I'm gonna go and get myself a drink, work on a Minecraft video. You'll have already seen that by now. And we're gonna talk about e-fuels, and we're also going to order some brakes for the BMW M3 E46. Possibly the best brake pads you can get for your E46 M3. Alright, so funny story. I bought this bag of ice last week during one of my routes because it was so freaking hot. I wanted to die. I still have the headache from last week or even the week before. I get migraines when weather changes a lot. Usually barometric. I think it's barometric temperature or pressure, and then just temperature in general. But we're gonna make a drink. All right, let's get to work. All right, good news, everybody. I'm actually working on two videos today. A Need for Speed Underground video and a Minecraft video where I finish my house. Go to my Minecraft folder. I got to apply a compressor to the voice audio. Compressors are important because they make it so that quieter elements, the way I do it, quieter elements of the voice audio become a little louder compared to the louder elements, and Audacity is being a turd. So let's open this file with Audacity, which will automatically import it, so that's just much easier. Normally I do a screen capture, but I'm doing a vlog today, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right, then we go to Effect, Compressor. These are my random settings that I've kind of just figured out with no real understanding of what I'm doing. And we'll export the file as WAV. Put it in the Minecraft folder. There we go. That'll save that. We'll start exporting the face camera with the microphone audio instead of the camera audio. And then NFS Underground 2, recording 0. That's gotten started. And now let's order the brakes. Hey everyone, my hair is kind of dried after taking a shower. We will be getting Performance Friction Brakes, PFC, Z-rated street pads. They basically just go with the OEM rotors. You basically just replace the OEM pads with these. We're gonna add both of them to the cart, front and rear. We're gonna have to do a complete brake change, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But here we are. If you want to get these same pads on your E46 M3, they're much better than CSL's. For the front, the part number is 394.11, or if you're on the PFC website, it might start with 0394.11. And then we get to the rears, and the part numbers for these, 548.11 or 0548.11. So let's add these to cart. Money, money, money. All right, so we got the rears and the fronts. The total is 240 bucks. I think that's a little bit more than the OEMs. I don't know what the OEMs would cost, a full set, but let's do a checkout. I can't show you my financial details though. All right, $267.19. That's with tax and shipping. There is no tax. Just the brakes and the shipping. I agree to terms and conditions. Place order. Thank you for shopping with us. Cool. All right. Let's go for a drive. Here is the E46 M3, and I'll just tell you kind of why I think the rotors need to be changed as well. This is a trick Herschel taught me. I'm fairly certain this applies to other cars. If you run your finger along this here, the rotor, the disc, and run your finger, if you feel a lip at the edge, that might mean that that needs to be changed as well. It's not bumpy, it's nice and smooth, but that needs to be changed. We know that at least the pads and all that need to be changed, but we might have to just do a full brake change. Which normally with OEM everything is apparently like $900 something. With these PFC performance friction brake pads, it will be a little more. Just for future reference, when we do go full S65 V8, even naturally aspirated, we'll probably go with the PFC big brake kit. Anyways, let's get in the car, and we're gonna go to the new house, and then I'm gonna keep talking about stuff. Okay, and today the car is running on 93, which is cool. Can anyone tell me what kind of horsepower you can get out of a stock motor S54 on E85? Because I'm very curious. Like, once we do the CSL tune, if I'm willing to do this before we go do the engine swap, because if we do the engine swap, we'll be standalone ECU and all that. But if there's an E85 kit out there for the E46 M3, because there are some E85 pumps near me, I'm sure. Would it be cool to do E85 in this car? Would we be able to make like 400 brake horsepower in this car? Because on 93, we could probably get up to 360 with the CSL tune. But on E85, it'd be really cool to aim for 390 or 400. Because that's getting really close to the horsepower of the S65. And we'll want to see how the car feels with that kind of power. Because the maximum we'll ever get out of the S54, if we were to try, is 480. But that requires extensive modification. Stroke it to 3.4 liters, use all kinds of crazy racing internals, tens of thousands of dollars. The compression ratio would make it impossible for us to run street gas. So, all in all, that's probably not going to happen. 400 on E85 is probably the best we can hope for before we become, I don't know what that Camry was doing, before we become really unreliable. And now we wait for Heather, because I don't have a key for the screen door. I have a key for everything else. I don't have a key for the door that gets me to the doors that I have keys for. Bye, Heather. Alright, let's talk about e-fuels for a second. I should actually get my phone. I have some articles on e-fuels. And if not, a quick Google search can help us be informed. The power of the internet. Also, weirdly, this screen here is getting a little messed up. But I can't prioritize putting in the new display over everything else, unfortunately. Alright, we're in the garage. E46 M3 is behind me, and we are talking about e-fuels. So when I search e-fuel, the first article I get is from June 23rd, 2020, and it says e-fuels won't save the internal combustion engine. Well, we're not going to look at that because that's just grim. We're going to look at Porsche's e-fuel specifically. I heard that BMW is also working on an e-fuel. They're partnered with someone somewhere. We can talk more about that. I don't remember what it's called. I don't want to do research in front of you guys. January, February. So Porsche is working on a synthetic methanol fuel. And their claim is that it will be, with that fuel, you can put it in a normal gas car and it will make it as eco-friendly as an electric vehicle. So here's the quote. The first line of the article, it's on CNET. Porsche thinks its synthetic gasoline, which it calls e-fuel, could be as clean as an electric vehicle. But first, it needs to prove that theory, and that starts this year. In fact, it starts today. The German company on Tuesday said drivers in their vehicles participating in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup race series will be topped off with the renewable e-fuel. So they're actually testing the fuel not just in road cars, they're actually testing its capabilities in race cars, which is one of the most, for environment purposes, the least emissions friendly, even though it's a very, very small minority in terms of how cars are used in the grand scheme of things. But if they can make it efficient there, imagine all that in a road car. Anyways, the series kicks off in Zandvoort, Netherlands. I can't remember how to say Zandvoort. I used to live in the Netherlands, but I don't know how to say anything. Porsche expects this first iteration of the Efuel to burn with 85% fewer emissions than regular old gasoline. And on top of that, the synthetic gas filling up race cars today is blended to current market standards for passenger vehicles. To be clear, the fuel isn't in its final form, which promises greener days for the internal combustion engine. So this is a partnership between Porsche and ExxonMobil. They're using a plant in Chile. The plant splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, which I can't imagine is a super easy thing to do. And CO2 is filtered out of the air and processed with the hydrogen to create synthetic methanol. They're taking CO2 out of the atmosphere and using it to make fuel. I think that's super, super cool. So I should say as a disclaimer, I know there are a lot of people in the car community that don't believe in climate change and global warming and all that because they don't like the way it sounds. It means that a whole lot of stuff needs to be changed. And I get that. But I'd like to make sure the planet is safe and healthy for my daughter and my daughter's kids. It could be really, really, really bad because we're not really stopping. We're not learning. It's a lot easier to say, I don't believe in that and just pretend to be comfortable. And then die and let other people deal with it, which is, in my opinion, the mindset of a 6-year-old. I am an advocate for protecting the planet, making things better for other people. And while I do think it's good to reduce emissions, I don't want to lose my car. You know, I don't want to be told, you can't drive this on the street. It's a gas car. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to modify. You're not allowed to do any of that. I literally have an exhaust part over there that I haven't even put on the car yet. And I still want to be able to do all of that. I don't want EVs to take over everything and then everything just stop being fun. Because unfortunately, I'm a boomer at the age of 23 and EVs are just not my thing. As I think more and more about it, I think I'll give EVs a shot, but if EVs aren't fun, that's kind of the end of the hobby for me. You know? Like, gas cars are what I prefer. In my opinion, EVs are great. They can be cool. They can be great daily drivers. But I'd rather the electric vehicle be an option and not a requirement, because it messes with people's jobs and careers that they've studied for and invested a lot of time and money in, and it takes away our options. What's the word? It's not a very organic transition for people that just like cars. You know, like people that want to do EVs, they do it because they want it, and that's very organic, and that's fine. For the rest of us, it's like, well, we're driving an EV because we don't have a choice, and people are going to call us horrible or whatever. You know, with the whole RPM Act thing, which I might have to talk about at some point. But anyways, still got stuff. I'll probably hang these on the wall at some point, the license plates from the WRX. As you guys know, this is the Section 1. After we do the brakes, we're going to order the CSL headers, and then we're going to do the GTR wing. We got to have the GTR wing. And then after that, side exhaust. I think that's what I want to do, is side exhaust. One thing that I did get delivered is this today. I got it off Tuner Cult. I didn't even realize it was going to enter me into a sweepstakes, but it did. It was a sweepstakes for a Nissan GTR. And, you know, that's fine. I'm probably not going to win. But they're license plate frames, which I think you guys will like these. Let's see if I can open this. I just want to show you what they say. I ordered one other thing from them. Okay, I guess this is a little sticker. Here are the frames. I kind of figured, because the way things are going with the R34 build, With the way things are going with R34s, they're getting obscenely expensive, and I'm sorry, but $130,000 for a base R34 GTR is not worth it. You'll never be able to convince me otherwise. I'm sure it's great if you already own one and you're like, ah, cool, this is an actual investment. I'll make money off of this. I don't love the R34 GTR enough to really think it's worth that much money. Even if I had $300,000, I might, you know, buy an M-Spec Nerd, but it's like, this is a dumb amount of money for this car. I had someone argue with me about that on Instagram, and he owns several GTRs. He owns a Midnight Purple 3 or whatever. He somehow has that in the US. Not my business. I'm not going to talk about that. One thing I've observed in the R34, R33, and R32 community, the people that are the most toxic are the people that own the cars. Like, they get so offended, and they just have this weird, incorrect notion that if you own the car, you're suddenly an expert on it. Which is not how it works. That's not how anything works. I'm not an expert in E46 M3s because I own one. I'm an expert because I'm a nerd, and I spend all of my time researching the darn thing. Even before I owned it. Since I was, like, in 10th grade. These are the frames. Tuna no crust. I thought that would go perfectly on an R34. And, you know, since we're going R34 GTT, I think that's kind of okay. Because Brian kind of had a theme of doing the zero to hero build, where they'd take a car of no particularly cool status and make it into something really cool. Like, for example, the R34 in Fast and Furious. That was not a GTR. If you tell me that's a GTR, I'm just going to tell you, well, why did they modify it like it's a GTT? But I don't care. Taking a GTT and making it into a GTR is cool. The Supra in the first Fast and Furious film was a non-turbo Supra that was completely beat up to hell. They basically made that into a Toyota Supra Turbo. Made it awesome, sound epic. I kind of like that theme. I'm sort of doing that with the M3, except it's an actual M3. That's because an E46 M3 is like 20 grand, not 130. A Toyota Supra Turbo is kind of the same. It's obscenely expensive and just kind of dumb. We're going GTT, and we're going to do it Paul Walker style, in the sense that we're just going to make a GTR out of a GTT. I don't know if I'm going to badge it as a GTR, because that's going to make a lot of people angry. But at the same time, you know, the only people that seem to get angry are 12-year-olds and the people that own the cars. So all in all, the opinions of those people don't matter anyways. Anyways, I'm Tom the Racing Joker. If you like what you've seen so far in this video or in previous ones, and you're not subscribed yet, be sure to fix that, because you'll love what I've got planned. I'm making this into a GTR. I'm going to get an R34. I'm going to 26 swap that, single turbo it, make it super awesome, have it right next to the M3 GTR, Dream Garage, and all kinds of other stuff. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Tom the Racing Joker. Goodbye.